I'd like for you to take a moment and close your eyes. A young girl around 21 is on her way home one afternoon of shopping with her friends. As she and her friend are getting into their vehicle, she sends a text to her boyfriend letting him know that she is on her way. The friends continue on their way, laughing and joking about the day's events. She notices that her phone has a text which is sitting in the cup holder. She proceeds to grab her phone while laughing and carrying on with her friend. While she's continuing to struggle with the passcode on her phone and watching the road, she finally opens the message and begins to reply. She's excited to get home and have a movie night with her boyfriend and their daughter. Just before she could hit send, she swerves into oncoming traffic, hitting another vehicle head on. Fast forward 30 minutes. After continuous phone calls from her boyfriend's phone, a responder at the scene answers. All the boyfriend can hear are sirens in the background and the screams of the passenger friend. This is now what replays in his head. She didn't survive. Are you almost home? This is the text that could have waited. Now open your eyes. Is it really worth it? You are 23 times more likely to have an accident while texting and driving. It is said that it is more debilitating to your reaction time than driving under the influence of alcohol. Studies show that it delays the reaction time as much or more than the legal limit of alcohol. Today, I'd like to inform you of the dangers of texting and driving in hopes that you will not pick up the phone while behind the wheel. In 2011 alone, 1.3 million accidents were caused by texting and driving. 1 in 5 young adults admit to surfing the web while driving. Today, my 3 main areas to cover are what is the likelihood of an accident occurring while texting and driving, who is affected by texting and driving, and what are the consequences of texting and driving. What is the likelihood of texting and driving? 1 out of 4 accidents are caused by a driver who is behind the wheel with a telephone, texting and driving. 5 seconds is the minimal amount of time that your attention is away from the phone or away from the driving. This equals the length of a football field. If you're going about 55 miles an hour, this is how far you're going to travel while your attention is away. Teens who drive while texting and driving spend about 10% of their time outside of their correct lane. Now that I've told you about the likelihood of an accident occurring while texting and driving, I'd like to move on and discuss who is affected by it. Who is affected? Passengers, other drivers, and families. None of these people made that choice. The driver in the car next to you may not make it to his son's baseball game. Or what about the mother waiting for her children to arrive home from school? Now that I've discussed who is affected by texting and driving, I'd like to inform you of the consequences of texting and driving. So what are the consequences of texting and driving? Guilt. You have to live with this for the rest of your life. You'll also be penalized by insurance companies. Your rates will most likely severely increase if your coverage is not completely dropped. More importantly, you can cause serious bodily injury or even death, not just to yourself, but to your passengers and other drivers. So who do you love more than texting and driving? Now, after hearing my speech, how many of you will commit to not texting and driving? And how many of you will suggest to others not to text and drive? Thank you.